Hello, and thank you for joining us this morning, this afternoon, this evening, wherever you happen to be. We'll just wait another couple of minutes. There's some more people still joining us, and we'll be back at just a minute or two past the hour. Well, hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Andy Elwood. I'm the Product Marketing Manager at Pulseway, and hopefully you've kind of enjoyed being a Pulseway customer in the last few weeks. But I just want to go through some stuff that you may have missed, some of the other offerings we have, and just give you a few hints and tips about how you can actually maybe make your experience even better. So first of all, I'm going to talk about what we call the Pulseway ecosystem. Then I'll talk about the add-ons that we offer and the integrations and the services that we offer that you may not be aware of. Then for the MSPs amongst you, I'll talk about the MSP toolkit that we offer. And then I'll go through some of the latest features that we have introduced and a look ahead to what we will be offering in the next couple of months. So let's dive straight into the ecosystem. So clearly at the core of our ecosystem is the Pulseway RMM platform. And then we have products that we have integrated tightly into that platform. So Pulseway third-party patching, Pulseway cloud backup, Pulseway PSA, and Pulseway network monitoring. I'll talk about all of these in a couple more minutes. Then we have some other products that we have integrated with to a certain extent. Webroot and Kaspersky, which you can access from, you can manage from within the RMM platform, and IT Glue, which has integrations into the asset details from Pulseway RMM. Again, I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. Then outside of that, we have some other products. We know our customers' kind of concerns and interests. So we're focused on providing some really great solutions in the areas of security and backup. There are kind of two main focuses, and we've got some products here that you can buy from us. And the advantage of buying from us is that you just have one bill, one person to deal with. You're not having to go through various different people. We will own kind of any issues and queries. So it's simplified billing, and we can often do you a good deal as well. And then on the outside of the ecosystem, we have some services that we offer, which again, I'll talk about in more detail. So the ecosystem is our core product with some core tight integrations, some slightly looser integrations, and a collection of great tools and services. So let's go through them all, starting with third-party patch management. You already have seen the operating system patch management in the product. If you choose to go to Pulseway 3PP, you can actually automatically schedule the patching for your apps as well as the operating system. So we now are up to 133 titles, and you can add your own title. So as well as your endpoints and security, and just adding the security from the operating system, you also operationally can be more kind of organized and robust by keeping your applications up to date. And if you're an MSP, it allows you to extend your backup services and earn some additional revenue. So what does that look like? The key thing here is when you're setting the general patch policy for the operating system, there's an extra dialog box at the bottom there, which says you can actually create an additional separate schedule for third-party patching, because third-party patching you might not want to do as often as operating system patching. So you can actually create your own separate schedule. And this is what the third-party rules look like. It's very, very simple. You get a drop-down list of applications there. And if you've created a custom title, and a custom title is one where it's not on our standard list, but our list is growing every month, but you could have a very niche application, you can easily add that to the solution, and any custom title will appear in this drop-down box. And then you've got a choice of three options, very simply: install and keep up to date, which is obviously the easiest thing; update if it's already installed; and uninstall. So you can actually use this to help you manage the applications. If you're going through a rollout of a new application and getting rid of an old application, you can actually use the third-party patching option to help you do that. The Pulseway Cloud Backup, it's integrated, so it's a file and folder backup for servers and workstations. It's deployed via the existing agents you already have in place for Pulseway RMM, and you can get real-time health scores, and it's scheduled or on demand, and you get notifications of failure, and you can restore from anywhere via the mobile app as well, and it just gives you additional peace of mind. So here we see so the example of the kind of backup templates that you have here, so you can actually decide very easily what's included and what's not included, and the new path. And then you can get a list of recovery jobs. So here we go. We know that these have all been successful. And network monitoring. Network monitoring has been around for the last few months, and this extends the power of the RMM to include all your network devices like printers, routers, switches, anything with an IP address. There'll be an enhanced version of this coming out in a month or two's time, but it still but at the moment, it's still a great tool. It gives you an auto-generated topology map. It's color-coded, and you can easily access the device info. And and you can also use remote control with SSH. You can actually remotely connect to these devices without actually having to be on the same network as them, as it would normally be at the moment, because typically you don't expose a firewall or a router to the external network. So you typically have to be on the network to be able to access them, but here you can access them through the Pulseway app. And here's what the topology map looks like. And you can see we've got green, which means that, green, that means that it's a monitored device and everything is okay. Red here means that it's a monitored device and something's not okay. There's a severe issue, critical issue. And here means this is a new device that's been added in the last 24 hours. So it's quite useful at being able to keep tabs visually on your network and the status of things. And you can then access it and go through this in a bit more detail. You can actually go down into detail to see what the issue are. So you can actually, as you can see here, and you just use them as you would any server or workstation. You can access the information. So it's very similar. And then PSA for MSPs, it's just a business management ticketing solution, but we have integrated ticketing into the Pulseway app. So if you use PSA, you can manage your tickets, or your technicians can manage your tickets through the mobile app. So if you're using PSA, you've got mobile ticketing. So from within the application, on the mobile, you can actually get your alert, and you can then remediate the issue, and you can also update the tickets all from your mobile device. So it's really great tool for productivity within the technician. But the desktop is fairly standard for this type of product. It's got a CRM, it's got links to finance applications, some project management, and you can bill your time against the client and all the things that you need to run an effective MSP business. So on to the integrations that we offer. So IT Glue is a IT documentation tool, and it provides a structured framework to store your documentation. And even if you're an internal IT or you're an MSP, it keeps all the details, all the documentation about your environment or your customer's environment in one place very securely. And it links related items. It has a password vault and an audit trail, so you can see what people have done. And it means your documentation is never out of date. And with the Pulseway integration, it pulls in the system data automatically. So you've actually done the core of the stuff there. Now, documentation is one of these things that it was obviously one of the things we think about least, but it is quite key, and this actually helps you manage that documentation. And it also gets over the problem that many companies have of one person knowing everything there is to know about the system. So if something happens to that person, then it's a big knowledge gap that can take several weeks to recover. So IT Glue, very simple. Again, activity logs of who's done what in the last 30 days. You've got a link of their passwords organized by organization, and just a link of and you can track every asset, so you make sure that everything's documented. So you know what all your assets are, to make sure you've got all the important details you need to know about those assets all within one place. So easy to access for everybody on your team, but securely accessed, so only people who need to access it can access it. And then we have our integrated AV solutions. So at the moment we have Webroot and Kaspersky integrated. They're commonly used antivirus solutions. Many of you may know them already. So endpoint DNS protection with Webroot, we've got managed machine learning technology, and you can manage it centrally, and you've got visibility to web users, and you can enforce acceptable use policies and things like that. Kaspersky has got full protection for email, web browsing, and file system, and good old protection against malware and viruses. And how you manage it within the tool is, so we have antivirus appears on the menu here, and then the engine is whether it's Kaspersky or Webroot. And here you can see this is a Webroot a policy, and here's a Kaspersky policy. This one here is Kaspersky. So you then can click on these to get the ability to do other details. You can see that something here, you can change the policy, uninstall it, run the update, run a full scan, a critical scan, and a different set of options for web root as well, deep scan, run updates or clean up. And then you manage all of these by policies. So here we go. This is a simple example of an antivirus protection policy. This is what you're checking against. You're not checking against adware or autodialers. So it's very easy to manage, again, from within the same pane of glass. So in Pulseway, we want to make everything as simple as possible in one place, nice and integrated, so you're not hopping from application to application. Then we go to our rather cool ecosystem partners. So Dark Web ID is a dark web monitoring platform, and it's one of these products that you may not know exists, but when you see it, you think, oh, how could I not live without this? How can I live without this? So it's award-winning, and it basically identifies by scanning the dark web to look for any compromised user credentials that you may have, and you can search on a basis of an organization, or you can search on just individuals. You can actually get it to alert you when it knows that certain credentials are for sale. And so this way is, the biggest problem for security at the moment is people, particularly with people working remotely. They may be not as strict as they would be in an office environment. So this allows you to actually make sure that you can identify some potential risk, some compromised credentials, and actually stop threats happening before they actually happen. Very simple here. So we see that these are the dates that these products were found. So these are the email addresses, and when they've got passwords, when they found them, where it was found, and all any information they can find about it. And so you can actually do this as an MSP on an organizational level as well. So it's a great tool for giving that extra level of security. Bitdefender, like Kaspersky and Webroot, a good quality endpoint DNS protection tool, not integrated into the main platform yet, although that is in the plan. I'll talk about that later. And it gives you, again, web usage visibility. You can enforce web usage policy. So all the things you would expect, it will be integrated into the tool later in the year. But again, as I said, you can buy this from us, so you're just billing, paying one bill and dealing with one person. We will handle that in the first level support, and if there are any technical issues, and it looks like that, and it's very good. Actually, the hyper detect is a great feature of Bitdefender. So it's an extra layer of security. So it detects suspicious activity before they've executed as well. So that's kind of a cool feature of Bitdefender. Cyberhawk is internal threat protection, as it calls it. It says it. So it scans the network for internal threats, and it gives you protection for the whole network, and it allows you to provide this internal threat. So again, it's about this risk I mentioned about users. There are lots of internal threats. All the focus typically is on the external threats, which are obviously important, but there's a lot of threats internally as well. So you've got protection for your whole network. You can detect unusual login behavior, find personal data where it doesn't belong, block network attacks, and you can, if you're an MSP, you can actually use it to identify potential weaknesses. These are the reports that come out. You can determine what reports you want. So this one is got changes, so new printers have been added. There's at the front here, this user here has the most alerts. So there's some issue here. So maybe that's somewhere you could go and check out that user. Why is he getting so many security alerts? Assets that are compromised. So a whole lot of reporting you can do to help identify and protect yourself from internal threats. Also, now into backup. So we offer spanning SAS Backup, which is tailored for the G Suite, Office 365, SharePoint, and Salesforce. Now, a lot of users, particularly now in the last year, where people have been kind of maybe move towards these type of solutions quicker than they would have liked if they were running internal IT, internal email systems. you kind of think, oh, it's SaaS, it's in the cloud, someone else is looking after it for me, I don't need to worry about backing it up. But typically these companies will look after they will repair any issue that they caused. So if there was a catastrophic failure in the data center, they have protection for that. They don't protect somebody mistakenly deleting data, and they don't necessarily protect, like particularly in Salesforce, malicious ex or about to be ex salesperson taking all the data away, the sales data to go to the next job, and then deleting it from the company. So there were ways of getting Salesforce data back. I think Salesforce have stopped doing that, and it was quite expensive. But if you try to get data back from Microsoft and Google, it can be expensive. It can be timely. So it's very simple. Salesforce is native. You run it natively from within Salesforce itself, but you see each application, each version is specifically tailored to G Suite, Office, to Salesforce. You can see here that you've got the information about the contact and the opportunity level, all the key sales data that you need to be protected for. So that's, again, one of these products that maybe you thought, well, I thought I had that handled, but maybe you don't. Now, extending the backup capability further. So with Pulseway Backup powered by Unitrends, and Unitrends is kind of one of the industry leaders in disaster recovery solutions. So you can manage and monitor and manage all your backups from a single portal. If you're an MSP, you can do this across multiple clients. It gives you detailed specific reporting, and it's based on an on-site appliance. And the advantage of having an on-site appliance is you can get up and running quickly. So this is a pure business continuity kind of solution. But obviously, failures happen in different forms. You could have a catastrophic failure in the building, for example, and so therefore you can also back up to the cloud as a form of backup to your backup. So you want it backed up into the on-site appliance because you can spin it back up very, very quickly with minimal disruption. But in case there is that catastrophe, you can actually you've got a secondary source to get it back from. And for a MSP, particularly useful opportunity to create a business continuity service. And also some backups to the cloud can be targeted with ransomware. There have been cases of that. So there's ransomware detection built into the platform. Very simple, very clear, easy to use dashboard, and it's a standard, rack appliance that you use for your dedicated backup. But again, the advantage is it's secure. It's got self-healing disks. It's designed to do everything it can to protect your backup, and it does mean you can get back up and running very, very quickly. Network Detective is a great tool for MSPs. It can scan your customer's environment in less than an hour, and it's really used by MSPs to generate new business. So you can discover those specific risks, and you can expose issues that if you're trying to take out an existing MSP, for example, it can maybe expose issues that the current provider or internal IT has actually missed. And we found that MSPs that use this with customers, with prospects, close around 70% of new opportunities because the information that it delivers is actually so powerful. So here's an example of the reports: network assessment report and a security assessment report. And this one here, so this has got an example of credit card details that are stored in places where it probably shouldn't be. There seem to be 439 counts of American Express details stored, which is a bit worrying. And on the network assessment, it gives you a risk score. And if you're trying to sell services, particularly around security, and we know that there is a heightened demand for security at the moment, that's a very powerful sales tool. And both these reports will be branded with your own logo. Now, just to offer some services. A few services. We offer a network operations center. So if you want to grow your business, or you have your kind of peak demand at certain times of the year, you can just use our built-in knock service to actually do the monitoring and management. It can also allow you to dip your toe into maybe 24-hour monitoring without having to ramp up your staff. So it gives a lot of flexibility there as well. And the last two are just on security awareness. So Bullfish ID from the people that gave you ID agents. It also does security awareness training with simulated phishing attacks and some and security awareness campaigns. And there has been a huge increase in phishing attacks, it says there. WebRoot's security awareness training is a comprehensive platform. The training is updated monthly. It does focus on security training, as you'd expect, but it also talks about privacy and other training as well. You can actually simulate phishing attacks with templates. And they also have a way, which is quite cool, of bringing out titles based on recent events. If there's been a large attack that was caused by something, for example, there'd be some training based around that. You can set long-term training programs if you want. You can just do one-off, integrated with Active Directory, so that it's very easy to deploy to your people. And you can also automatically enroll new people as they join your network. So therefore you make sure that no one misses out on the training. And you've got a dashboard to show how people are doing. And I just wanted to put a date in your diary. On Thursday, the 18th of February, WebRoot are running a webinar with us, exactly as I was talking about, address human error to reduce your biggest risk. So, and how important security awareness training is, and you'll get to see it as well. So, so WebRoot security awareness training is available for existing WebRoot customers, and also if you're not a WebRoot customer as well, it would be worth tuning into that webinar as well. Now, for the MSPs, I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about the MSP Toolkit. So you'll see this if you're an MSP at the bottom of the menu. MSP Toolkit, and this is the kind of the choice of options you have, and you'll see that we feature Gary Pika, who is an MSP expert. He's successfully built and sold a couple of MSP businesses, and now he's in the business of consulting with MSPs to help them build and be successful businesses, because it's not just technology, it's actually the business side of it as well. So in the toolkit, we have various tools like the MSP assessment, so you can compare yourself, your pricing, your service offerings, whatever you, against other people locally to you. We've got videos from Gary Pika about pricing, how to increase recurring revenue, which is obviously one of the holy grails of an MSP, and how you can sell your value proposition. We've got a Power Pack, which is a collection of scripts and policies and extended audit features from one of our partners upstream. Very useful to help you get started. And then some more business support. We've got some email templates, Google Ads templates that you can help your marketing and your business. We also have customizable brochures. I was speaking to an MSP who said, look, we could do this ourselves, but we don't have time. It just means that it's nice to leave something with the customer. So that's all customizable with your logo and everything, whatever you want to do that. We've got other training content. We've got aspects around MSPs, blogs. We've got some logos and screenshots if you want to feature us in your material, which some people do. And we have an onboarding checklist, which is new customer onboarding best practices for MSPs. So, we like to work with young MSPs to help them develop their business, and how to successfully onboard a new customer is kind of one of the core things of actually developing a successful and lasting business. And here's just an example of some of those assets that we have. So so that's an email template there, and how to build the right offer, because that's sometimes difficult. How do you actually package your stuff? So we've got some cool little tools there as well as information and a big training resource. So let's talk about what's happening with us, what's the latest, and you can get that by at the top of the when you're in the web application, you'll see the what's new in the top menu. Click on that, or you can actually type pulseway.com/new, and you get literally our latest update. And this was updated last night, so this is fresh off the press. So there's a couple of key features. We've got a sub release. It's 8.6.2. So our main releases would be 8.6. That was our last release. 8.6.2 has a couple of cool new features. The first one is support for Siri Shortcuts. So effectively, we've become the first voice-controlled RMM tool. So you can actually, within the app, and the latest version of the app went live yesterday as well, 8.6.1 on the Apple Store, and you have access to this. So you can actually add custom phrase to Siri. So you can attach your shortcut phrase with an actual Pulseway command. So patch my servers would run a patch policy, whatever it is. So hey Siri, run the workstation's patch policies, it says there. So we've got a full list of commands like run patch policies, system commands like lock, restart, shutdown, things like that. And here is a very simple and quick example.
Hey Siri, start my computer.
Okay, done.
Should see it start very shortly. Here we go, and now the machine started. So we'll be building on the functionality of this later on. So you'll see more there, but it's already generating a great level of interest. The next thing, so back in December, we launched web dashboards, which is as you hopefully have already seen, a view of being able to have a high level view of the dashboard through these widgets. And so what we launched yesterday is so therefore the widget, if you haven't seen it, you can drill down. So I'm looking at the online systems. So here we go. So there's the online systems. I can click on that, go into the detail. I can then look at a certain server and then go straight into the information. So it's not just a read-only thing. When you're looking at it as an administrator or a user of Pulseway, you can actually drill down. But what we've now done is you can now make them public read-only dashboards. So when you're defining a dashboard, there's a new option at the bottom, this public link, share a read-only version of the dashboard, and it generates a link for you to share. So you can share this with your customers, you can share this with departments. And as we build out the widgets, it'll be more and more information there. And also, if you do, we've also introduced kind of a scroll bar, so that when you have more than number of widgets that fit on a screen, they will scroll through at a certain speed as well. But for a public read-only dashboard, so it's very simply, if you want to show your customers that everything is fine, you give them a dashboard, they can have it on a monitor. You can have it on monitors for your core customers or your key departmental servers or whatever it is. So you can just keep an eye on it as well. And when you use that link, it just shows a very clean dashboard like that with no, it's just that. So again, a lot of interest in this because certainly MSPs find it difficult to show value, and this is a great way for customers who don't want to read through reports to actually show that they're effectively monitoring the system. Third-party patch management titles, as I mentioned before, here's the complete list. There's 133 growing all the time. Here are the latest ones that have just been added, including things I've never heard of, Calibre and PZIP. As I said, don't forget the custom titles. These are very important. And when we last looked, it was well over 200 different custom titles are currently being supported by the platform across our customer base. So again, it's these niche these niche options. Certain sectors like retail particularly would have applications that would not be as widely used as Zoom or Microsoft. So it's a very good way of being able to protect and add to your patching routine those other specialist apps. Coming soon, so hopefully you've all had time to experiment with the automation workflows. So we're in the next few days, you'll see them look differently. And so immediately you can see this is a clearer, cleaner interface, and so it's easier to read. But we haven't just done it to be to be pretty, but we've also done it to improve performance, because a lot of people, because it's so powerful, can build really complex multi-layered workflows, and they can take time to render. And the reason for this is the logic is previously or currently is in each step, but in this new version, when you click on a step, you then get outside, so you can actually do everything you want, and it's easier to write it as well. So it's a separate box to the side of the menu, side of the screen, that allows you to actually add this information in. And so you should see a far quicker performance in just the editing and management of the workflows, as well as being easy to read. But we want your feedback, and there are a couple of ways of doing this. So if you click on that megaphone, you'll get this window appear. And so we do read all the feedback carefully. But we also have another way of doing this. And if you go back to what's new, and in the what's new, this is last month's one about when we introduced web dashboards. There's this green request feature button, and if you click on that, and now when you go through to the comments box, it actually leads you this direction as well. And this is a structured way of leaving a request. If you think there's something we're missing, and we're very keen to hear from our users, and this is what's driven most of the functionality of Pulseway, you get into this, so you can see that you've got a status. This way, you get to keep tabs of the requests that you've made, and you can also vote to support other people's requests. So remote control for macOS, that's coming. So that's in development. So that's been so that's obviously going to be pinned at the top. And you can see various other things that have been suggested are now in the planning stage. So you can actually get this information. It's very easy to add your suggestion. You just fill in the box, and then you give your email address. We can notify you when there's any change in status. So please make use of that. If you see things we're missing, you may even find we've seen one or two people have suggested stuff that is currently possible. They just didn't know how to do it as well. So that's just a useful way for us to get feedback. And again, if you want to go directly to this, you can go to pulseway.featureupvote.com and you'll go straight to this screen as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the roadmap, what's coming in the next few couple of months, a little bit further afield. So we're going to bring out a different version, a version of network monitoring, version 2. The next version will not have web interface access. That's planned for a later release, but we can have SNMP alerting, and we'll be able to run automation on SSH devices. So the way you can auto remediate or run automation at the moment on servers and workstations, you have to do that on network devices. We will be having more work around dashboards. There'll be mobile widgets, which should be coming very shortly. So you can keep an overview even from your phone on your home screen. And there'll be more widgets for the main dashboards as well. Again, if you have suggestions for widgets, by all means use the feature upvote tool to tell us. Remote control from macOS, that is coming. That's very soon. You can always do it to macOS, but from macOS is coming. We'll be integrating with Teams. So any notification alerts from Pulseway will go into a Teams channel, so everybody's kept informed. We will be integrating with Bitdefender. As I said, that's a few months away. And we will having 3PP support for Mac. That is coming down the line, but as you can imagine, that has some of its challenges. So that's the kind of product stuff. I just want to talk about onboarding. We've just introduced this onboarding menu in the tool, and it just helps you go to find lots of different things you might need to help you get started. So click on downloads, you get a list of all the downloads. So these are your agents, the apps, and the documentation. Click on the setup checklist. It tells you what needs to be done and what you have done. So this is kind of a checklist of the things that we find that users need to do to get off to a great start very quickly. So not many, but it gives you the instructions. You've got these learner, and it links to videos to show you if you are having trouble how to do this. There's a setup guide, which again shows you how to set up the various probes on the various operating systems. And then we have a link to a selection of training videos to help. But where else can you get help as well? So from in the Pulseway website, you can click on the resources feature at the top, and you get this menu here. And if you go to Resource Center, you'll get a list of product updates, a community forum, and I'll talk about the knowledge base in the forum in a second, vlogs, case studies, other stuff to download, and links to videos and patch management guides, things like that. So if you look at the community forum, so you'll see that this is where our community of users can help each other. We also post ourselves. There's some detailed stuff here as well, but it is a great way of, again, and again, we monitor this obviously because we reply to it. So if we see some topics being raised, we can point to any issues or clarifications we might need to make as well. So that's a very useful resource, and as is the knowledge base. So if you're stuck on anything, first thing, look at the knowledge base. Quite extensive, very easy, easy to read. The consumable. They're not detailed manuals at all. So you can see we've got 4 articles on mobile app installation, 72 on Windows agent configuration. So there's lots of information there. Just simply search and you should find what you're looking for. So just wanted to remind you, if you haven't done it already, so 2FA is a thing you can set up, and it just gives that two-factor authentication, just another layer of security. So you can do this for individual users, or you can enforce it for everybody. So if you click on the 2FA, you get this window, and it asks you to log in again, confirm your password. Then you can define a trusted mobile device is the way that most people use it. You can also do it through backup codes and one-time passcodes, see with the QR code there as well. But most people use just a trusted mobile device. You can set it up there. And so that when you log in, you then get, that appears before you log into the tool. And then you can open the Pulseway app, because by the time this appears, my phone is binging with this window, and I can then, it's me. So it's just a layer of security, and it has to be a trusted mobile. So you have to be a user to set that up in the first place. So not just anybody can access the machine. So we do recommend that is set up as default for all users of Pulseway. And if you need help, you can see the Pulseway Help Center, and there is some two-factor authentication information there as well. Again, lots of information to help you. So how to find out more now? Hopefully you will have just received a question to see whether you're very interested in the things we've spoken about. But you can also, from within the tool, from within the add-ons option in the menu, you'll get details of all the things I've spoken about today. You can request a call, and that will go straight through to your that will go to the, and you're just being asked now to do that. So if you are interested, fill in that form of anything you're interested in. We'll make sure you get more information. But here you can request a call, and your account manager will then go through to, it will go straight to your account manager, and they can start to talking to you about it. And you can also, there we go. You can also get help by clicking on the chat icon there. Again, go through directly to your customer success manager, and learn more there will actually show you just a summary of more information about the product, just a few paragraphs. So just to, we're coming to the end now. Just to summarize. We're all about trying to give you the functionality you need to make you more efficient. We try and build it into the platform, but we also look for other solutions that we know will be a benefit to our customers, because we like to get to know our customers, understand what their requirements are. The advantage of buying these third-party solutions from us is that you're dealing with one supplier. You're adding to the size of the contract, so there's inevitable economies of scale there, and we can with term deals like multi-year deals, we could then provide some packaging with some of these options as well, and we even can offer for a 3-year deal of a 6 terabyte virtual backup appliance that's worth $3,000 a year. So we got some more maneuver to give you to help you more with these other options. We have got integrations with key tools to help MSPs offer additional services, because we want to, a lot of MSPs we find have used Pulseway to change the way they do business. And so, we understand what they need amongst these services. And it's always using the tool you know. So things like cloud backup and network monitoring and third-party patching, they're within the same tool, and also the antivirus solutions, they're within the same platform. So there's not much extra learning, if any at all, needs to happen. And so, as we said, we're focused on backup security, or security and backup, but particularly on security at the moment. And we can help you enhance your security in an internal IT department, and also help MSPs power their security offerings. And we also like to offer practical help for MSPs as well. Our customer success managers are in regular contact with our customers, so we hear from you, we talk to you, and I talk to customers as well. And so we're really interested in the feedback that we get, and that helps us shape our direction and shape what the tool looks like in the future. So